Hi guys, Mr. Jaeger here, and welcome to the IAE, day number 6. My least favorite day. Yes, unfortunately my least favorite day, because unfortunately we have to deal with a little bit of a problem. We have to deal with Origin Jumpworks, the rich, snobby bastards who make ships that are way more glamorized and unfortunately at this moment hold the record for the largest ship in Star Citizen. So today we're going to be doing things a little bit quicker because I have already done stuff like in previous IAE events where I've walked around their various ships. So we're primarily going to be focusing on ships that are new, as well as looking at some of the maybe one or two of the ships I actually kind of respect in the Origin Jumpworks. I will say I am not a fan of the Origin Jumpworks ships. Like, there is maybe one or two that I am intrigued in, but that is it. And this is not this sounds like intensely hostile. It's not. It's just just whenever I look at them, I just see asshole like rich snobby asshole. Whenever you see these particular vessels. So today we'll be wrapping through this, hopefully as fairly quickly actually, because we've already done these particular things. I'm going to try and make this a little bit more time efficient, because obviously I, have already seen these vessels, and we've already seen all of the big vessels, so I will find some more intriguing vessels to get through. Also, some of the vessels you may want to have a look at as well, we'll have a little bit of a gander at. So, we'll have a look. First of all, we'll be having a look at some of the smaller vessels in the big room. We'll be going into the main room over to the east of the A2, before going downstairs once again to have a look in the Holo Suite. So without further ado, let's get started with the rich snobs. Well, let's get started. So, the two vessels to my front and to my left, we'll have a look at first. So we'll go small to large. So, vessel to my left, which I've already explored before. So if you want to see the interiors of this thing, I would guide you to my playlist, / to more of the videos before, where I've walked through them. I believe in 29, the previous IAE event in the 2950, I got into this particular vessel and gave my particular account. So to summarize it briefly for this particular perspective, it is a glamour yacht. It was one of the original designs. I think it was like one of the first few forays that CIG went into Origin Jumpworks yacht making. So there was some optimizations needed to be made, but it was all-round, it was a decent-ish idea. Again, it's a glamour yacht. It previously also held, when it first came out, the largest ship to be flyable in-game, which for a period of time was the the Champions Match, which then of course other ships came into the fray, which of course the Reclaimer being the big boy in the group, which I still maintain I believe is the largest ship, because in that ship you can take a fucking age to get anywhere, and you can really feel the length of this. But the vessel to my right, unfortunately, is the technical holder of that achievement. This, of course, is the 890 Jump. The 890 Jump is the largest vessel in the game. And I say largest, that is flyable, I should clarify. So the largest flyable vessel in the game, which you can purchase as a pledge, and you can fly around and do whatever you want to have. This vessel is also available to those who... You can also... I think you can potentially purchase this game with in-game UEC as well, but obviously because it's Origin Jumpworks, you are going to need a lot of cash. But the other thing that you can do, though, if you can't at least enjoy this particular vessel in the without whatever, you can actually enjoy this vessel as a mission type, because it's so large. It works as the base platform for a mission known as boarding action in process, where you can run around in a CQC environment, clearing out pirates on the ship. And also, they've recently reintroduced this as well. They've you can basically stop a pirate hacking device from activating, resulting in vital data being shipped out. I like this mission especially because it kind of shows the actual value of the 890 Jump in my eyes, because despite being a very premium yacht and, you know, all the special fanciness and nature, it took 2 fucking cutlasses to take it down. So Drake interplanetary cutlasses. I mean, come on. So yeah, no. This is a complete, in my opinion, a bit of an opportunity to show that you are a rich kid with no decent parents. But anyway, so my particular opinions aside, I am not a huge fan of this vessel. I just think it's there. It's origin. You're an asshole. Let's move on. But so let's go to a vehicle that I actually like, which is genuinely surprising, which is, of course, the 125A. This is in a series of 3 ships from Origin Jumpworks, which I even owned. I owned this vessel, which is shocking, because I never would have owned another vessel from... I don't think I'll ever own another vessel from Origin Jumpworks, unless something happens and they make the lightning strikes twice and they make another decent ship. So what exactly is decent about this ship? Well, first of all, it's a combat variant of a finger quote starter ship. This is one of the sort of the cheap Origin lines kind of vessels to introduce players into Star Citizen. This vessel is more dominated in combat, so you've got a couple of size 1 cannons and other jazz, and I believe there are also some missiles which are located at the front of the vessel, as well as some other components that makes it a little bit more efficient in terms of combat. It is a very small ship, so I can't imagine there's too much. There is a bed, which makes it quite useful, and there's a mini cargo-y slot thing for like crates and stuff, so it's a pretty good for like a basic bitch starter ship. And if we get into the seat, we will have a little bit of a look-see. In terms of view and looks, again, it's quite a glamorous thing. The big selling point is that you have a pretty decent view, and I won't deny it's pretty decent. The MFDs are mostly holographic, but they are also something to be desired because you've got something which is like almost 90 degrees to your left and right. So you may not even be aware of them if you are a new player, which is a bit of a disadvantage in my particular opinion. The other disadvantage, of course, is that you think being in a combat vessel, you might have a chance at standing up against a real fighter, which, of course, may not be the case. I mean, I'm not saying this thing couldn't take ships down. All I'm saying is that it wouldn't take that much to take you down either. So, yeah, no, it's not a bad ship. It's not a great ship, but for a starting vessel for Origin Jumpworks, yeah, no, good. It's a good enough start. If you really have to choose an Origin Jumpworks ship to be your first ship, then I would say the Origin 125 series is probably a good choice for you. If you're more into trading, though, or you want to use cargo transportation, then there is, of course, the 135C. Pretty much the same interior, not so much weaponry focus, but instead a large cargo focus, which, if we go back here, trying to see if I can activate the door. There we go. So you get a massive cargo bay at the back, which allows you to store even more cargo. Origin Jumpworks has this thing about integral cargo design, which on the one hand is cool because obviously it means you can put cargo in wherever you want. But it's also not that in my opinion, I find integral cargo to be less efficient. At least in my experience, because I find you can't really do as much with it. I mean, for example, you can, what's the way to describe it? I find it easier to work with, to have a non-integral cargo design. Because, for example, Avenger Titan, you know, the best starter ship in the game. You can walk into the location, plop down your cargo, or plop down the box you're carrying, and then move through the ship into the cockpit. Whereas with this ship, you have to precariously place the cargo into the back of your vessel, like by doing this awkward, weird transition-y thing. And we don't know, and obviously Star Citizen isn't perfect, so collisions may cause problems, and I don't know. But again, it's not a bad ship. I will say, it does its job really well, and it's a good starter ship. I just would say it's not, you know, its Origin's at least attempting to do so. At least attempting to be a decent starter ship. And of course, there is the 100, which is the basic bitch of all basic bitches inside Origin Jumpworks. So, it's kind of the bare bones edition, if you could call it that. But yeah, it's a starting vessel. I can't really comment too much about it because it is almost no different to an Aurora. It's got a bed, it's got a baby... Okay, so maybe have a slight advantage over the Aurora. It does at least have the ability for you to get in with a cargo box, which is a plus. I won't lie. Again, this is why I like them. They are actually decent vehicles. But anything above that, well, there are better starter ships, you know, like the Avenger Titan, like the Nomad. And both aren't as pretentious. So as we enter into the second room, we are greeted with all of the Origin Jumpworks 300 series and the new 400i, which in this room looks really small. Much smaller than I previously thought, which is saying something, but hey-ho. So, let's have a little bit of a gander at, before we have a look at the 400i, let's have a little bit of a gander at the old style logic. We can kind of have like old theory, old ship design versus new theory and new ship design. So this is the 300i. This is the OG Origin Jumpworks ship. She's had a bit of a redesign, I think, in the past, but she's stayed relatively the same in terms of design philosophy and mechanics. The wing swept, the wing points are of their own weird kind of angular style system. It was kind of its own, it was kind of the way of Origin Jumpworks, you know, to have their own little funky design in terms of aerodynamics. And fun, to be fair, the other, sort of, you can also see the lack of weapon mounts and everything in this particular thing, in this particular ship design. Though, to be fair to Origin Jumpworks, they were never really intended as full-on military vehicles. They do have military-style vehicles in tow, but they're not to the same degree as, shall we say, intentional. Like, the design philosophy still oozes radiance and opulence versus what practical and more, you know, durable line of thinking. But we're gonna have a look internally into this particular vessel, as well as look into the 250R, just because that particular edition is the racing edition, which was originally the OG, you know, big dick champion before ships like the other racing vessels took over, and then this vessel, then of course the Origin M50 showed up for that. So anyway, going into this vessel, the other little fun fact, obviously this other thing, as you mentioned, is that this has a 8 SCUs worth of integral cargo, which we'll be listing off a particular unique thing before wrapping over towards the 250R, and we also sort of hop into the vessel as well. So the Origin 300i original actually, for a time being, used to be compared, or it's probably 325A, the sort of the touring slash bounty hunter variant, was actually touted as kind of the counter to Aegis Dynamics' Avenger Titan, which, in my opinion, there was no contest between the two. But there was a period of time, because both particular ships outside of the game package actually cost the same. They have both similar stats, they have both similar sets of weapons, but in comparison to the internals, I mean, you've seen the inside of an Avenger Titan, and then if we're having a look at this particular thing, you don't have an you have an internal cargo thing, so you can't really put anything inside it unless it's like a box or whatever. And while this vessel does have a bed, it does have a few amenities. I can't really know. Anemones? I can't really find the words. My brain is stupid. It's very old style, old fashioned. You can see it's all barren. There's nothing to indicate life. The only sort of non-ship item-y things is these little glass containers, and probably a weapon if you put it there. But it's so barren and so bare, which again showcases the old style of Star Citizen logic design, where they couldn't really afford to put too much glamorizing items into it. You do have a shitter, which I suppose is the only thing that the Origin Jumpworks has over an Avenger Titan, is that you can defecate. But that is not something at the moment that is especially crucial. So if we enter into the pilot seat, you don't get any flashy chairs that go around, or no, it does. It's just, it doesn't reverse backwards and also returns around, so that's one thing, being petty as all fuck. The MFD system is very much reminiscent in terms of holographics. You get all of these different sort of things, which are in your sightline, which is good, but it sort of shares the same problem that some of them are a little bit obscured by your camera positioning. If you have things like track IR, though, it doesn't really matter because obviously head movement isn't as much of a thing. But you can see the old style of the interactable keyboard surfaces and other stuff along those lines, which is fairly cool. But anyway, so speaking back again against the comparison between this and the Avenger Titan, this particular ship has a similar style loadout to the Avenger Titan. You have 2 weapons on the wings, 1 weapon on the front, and missiles as well. Though in the Avenger Titan's case, you've got 4 missiles on the wings, and I think a size 3 Gatling on a size 4 gimbal mount with size 2 mounted weapon, size 2 gimbaled weapons on a size 3 mounted gimbal. So it's you could argue it's a tit for tat, and I think there were some Origin Jumpworks fanboys out there who really wanted to prove that this ship could handle it, that this ship was the challenger to the Avenger Titan, but as if this ship had a fucking chance to challenge the Avenger Titan. The only real challenger, and I'm gonna be vicious with this, the only challenger that ever possibly has turned up was the Nomad from Consolidated Outland. That is the only ship that ever could possibly challenge the Avenger Titan for best starter ship. The Origin Jumpworks is a glorified transport and a yacht. The 300 just is there. It's a glorified transport. It has its own unique aspects, but it's by no means a challenger to the throne. Now, obviously, this is much comparable to opinion, but when I was playing initially, there were a few people who tried to compare it. There were a few people who said that the 300i had advantages over the Aegis Avenger Titan, faster to get into, more maneuverable, blah, 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 having, listing a few other things. But when you really look down to it, the Origin Jumpworks is just a glorified taxi in comparison to a workship that, of course, is the Avenger Titan. So this vessel is different in only one real aspect, is that it's not really a glorified transport, but it's actually more of a racing craft. So it has the same internals, with the exception, of course, of no no kitchen or anything. It's just literally a bed. So you get in, you sleep, come back out, find a pot or something to put well, obviously you've got your business to have that, but obviously if you want to make some food, then, well, you're buggered. Because this vessel is a dedicated racing craft vessel, and for a time it was considered the fastest ship, or one of the fastest ships that Origin Jumpworks had when it came to racing. But of course, other vessels came in. I think Misk came in with their own vessels, and so Origin kind of lost the trophy for quite some time, and then they came back with their own M50, which we will get into later on. But all in all, the only other variants we have is the 325A, which I believe is the... Oh, 325, yeah. The 325A, which is the bounty hunting / more combat-focused edition, which has similar loadouts to the, I think, slightly stronger. I think it's like a size 3 Gatling gun. To be fair, it almost looks like a size 4, which has bigger weapons, more shield systems, more combat focus. This thing actually has a similar style of loadouts to a bog standard Avenger Titan, so there you go. It's got a red camo and everything. And I believe this edition is more for bounty hunting or for... no, not bounty hunting, more for exploration. This one is, of course, the 325, which is the explorer / I'm learning. I'm in my hobby. I have 315, not 325. I keep saying that. 315 edition, which is basically, in my spare time, I try and look out for various objects in space and claim that I'm an explorer. So there you go. But as you can see, the old style and framework for the Origin Jumpworks ship, and as such, we'll now see what the new style of Origin Jumpworks vessels are. So going into the Origin Jumpworks 400i, the latest vessel to come out of Origin Jumpworks, and as you can see, there are a host of new features and customizational aspects, and you can really see the difference. You can actually feel the polish and difference between this and an earlier edition. So this particular platform is a hover bike like hangar, which, right, so the elevator I'm going to assume is that thing. Yes. No, I do not want to rent this. So the Origin 400i is a dedicated like explorer is coined to be an exploration vessel. You have the means of a small crew to be able to hop in, to go to different planets, find some ground vehicles, and sort of go about exploring the verse with your friends and all of the other jazz. It's a very compact vessel. You can see there's a hangar bay for the internal bike, and I think if we go inside, I think there's like a button which we can hopefully access to raise the ramp. Elevator, ramp access, there we go. There we go. So this thing closes up. There's the gravity generator, and there is the suit / weapons loadout page. So that's pretty cool. You've got your own little weapons armory there. I'm thinking this is this is where you would host some of the suits that you would be wearing. So you can see crew of 3. Yeah, so this is a crew of 3 with weapon loadout. There's the docking collar, which I'm assuming works, because I think now with docking working in Star Citizen, you can see all of the different things, which is pretty cool. So let's enter into the main thoroughfare. So this is the components access, so you can have a look at all of the different internal components as well as fix them. You've also got the climate controlled. Okay. You can also have the ability. It has one of the. They've taken inspiration from Crusader Industries here, and allowed you to be able to lock the particular rooms in or not, dependent on like who wants to do certain things. Again, it's a bit difficult to sort of lock. I mean, I think you could probably treat this as a prison cell as well as a access to certain panels, but because there's little. I say prison cell because there's components and other stuff. You probably don't want to give people don't want to turn that into a prison cell. But desperate times, desperate measures. If we go into this particular back room before opening up, this is the cargo bay, and as you can see, it's not a bad vessel. Again, lots of it's a very compact, well sorted kind of thing. Which I won't lie, I will give props to the Origin Jumpworks for having this. Level of compact nature. You've got a small hangar bay where you can put a small transport vehicle. I think this is possibly where a G12 would be. We'll go into that particular train wreck of a vehicle later on. But depending on what kind of vehicle you want to put in here, judging from the compact nature, I don't think it's going to be much. I think even a golf cart would be quite full in this particular thing. I mean, well, until I see a Lore of the West video on like what you could fit into it, I'm gonna put a couple of hypothetical guesses. Maybe 1 Cyclone, maybe 1 Ursa Rover, maybe 2 to 3 Dragonflies, about the same for the Noxes, maybe slightly more. Maybe 2 to 3 golf buggies, like the little baby buggies from Grey Cat. Maybe 1 ROC. I know that sounds really stupid. It might not go in because of the wide wheel arch bases, but again, we will see. You have to. I can kind of visualize it, but I kind of can't. I'd have to give it a bash. In order to fully realize certain things. But, those are my hypothetical suggestions. The ROC is probably the least likely, though, in my personal opinion. So anyway, going up into the decks, one thing that I am a big fan of, or becoming a big fan of, is 2 options when it comes to climbing up into your different decks. You have, of course, a little elevator for the lazy bastards out there, but you also have the ability to get into the vessel via a maintenance hatch, which in my opinion is a big fucking plus. So thumbs up to Origin Jumpworks for keeping up logical thinking and allowing us to have a maintenance access. Okay, thank you very much, game. So going off into the bathroom, I'm guessing this is a multi-shared bathroom. Where's the shower? Oh, is this the shower? This is the shower. Oh, okay, yeah. So this is the shower which you can get into, and I'm assuming there is a privacy screen? Okay, there is a privacy screen, good. I think... Unfortunately, because this is a... Okay, yeah, this is the bridge. So because this is a showroom edition, there are a few little things. But as you can see, the details in the bridge and the style design and everything, you can see all of the different things. You've got like the co-pilots, the weapon access, and of course the main pilots, which I've not actually gotten into. So let's have a look, shall we? And see what the big kerfuffle is. I like how this thing is similar. Okay, so again, we've got shitloads of MFDs, and it looks like all of the MFDs would be kind of within visual reach. Yeah, they would also be kind of within visual reach, but there is, of course, the ability to interact with the holographic displays on the left and the right in true Origin Jumpworks style fashion. So they're taking some good lessons from the 890 as well as the 600. And of course, I'm assuming these guys are also, yeah, remote turret access, other sort of avionics. Yeah, so pretty much, yeah, taking a page out of the Crusaders book there and having lighting access to be different. So, obviously, Captain's Quarters, which I won't lie is kind of nice. Interior decorating. Origin Jumpworks have definitely done nice concept. This is a nice, compact vessel. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I appreciate the internal... I'm gonna say this. This may be the second Origin Jumpworks vessel I actually kind of like. It's compact. It's efficient. It's spatially mindful. It has its own drawers as well. Nice. It's not obnoxious. It's not large. There's the storage tab. Oh, nice. And I'm guessing you would in turn, it's one of those little things that you can probably sort of store it. Again, this vessel is dedicated for the role. Like, this is it. This is them taking exploration slightly more seriously. There is the captain's room, which is that a oh no, it's not a shower. It's a little hangar space for that particular thing. You got a big computer with a wireless keyboard and mouse, which, yeah, you know what? Yeah. I defy you 2,900 years into the future. Sorry. Yeah, like 900 years into the future, I defy you to find a better and more optimized version of a mouse. I doubt it. I doubt it very much. Look, there's the nerve gear for when you fancy playing Sword Art Online. We've got like a little mirror on the side, and there's obviously the Origin Jumpworks screen. So the captain's room is nice. I won't lie. This vessel is good. It's ticking all the boxes. I will still say it's obnoxious in Origin, but it's not as obnoxious. But as you can see also, we've got random books left on the side. We've got mugs and other stuff that have been left on the side. For some reason, these horrible artistic things are apparently a thing for it. But there you go. There's the crew quarters, the 3 crew, with the ability for people to enjoy stuff. And then I think there's an additional, yeah, there's the sort of kitchen where you've got like the different sort of supply rooms. You've got like all the storage capacities inside. I'm assuming some of these things are interactable. Yeah, there's the trash. There's the wines for when you want to be a douchebag. There's more of the fruit. It's sort of fancy sort of thing. So yeah, then of course you have the cartography segment whereupon you can plan your next outing, which is fairly okay. I won't lie, this particular version of Origin Jumpworks I like because they are less obnoxious and more like practical. GG. They're more practical. It's more efficient. The space, they haven't got a lot of space, which to be fair, this actually works in their favor. And I think this particular ship has actually been refined and it actually feels like a ship with a purpose. It's a glorified purpose. There are better ships that could possibly, you know, in my opinion, there will be other ships that do it, but I can't help but like this ship. I like the nature of this ship. It is intriguing. You know, the yacht style nature for it. I would say there are still better exploration ships out there that are more practicable. Say, I would say stuff like the Carrack, but I believe this particular ship. This is the reason why we use the ladder. I would say ships like the Carrack are available, but I think given the fact that this probably is cheaper, I'll have to have a look at the price. Fuck it, I'm gonna do this whilst I'm recording just to sort of highlight my particular thing because I am. Going to walk around and look at everyone crawling over this fucking thing like bloody vultures to a corpse. Honestly, it's like, oh my god, it's an... And I'm just like, okay, fair enough. Right, Star Citizen 400i price. What is the price of this vessel? 220... So 250 standalone USD, and War Bond is 220. So yeah, no, about a third of the price of a Carrack, or just under half the price of a Carrack. So yeah, no, Origin Jumpworks 400i. You've impressed me. You know what? I expected you to be a ugly piece of shit with not much logical mind setting, whatever, but I will eat some humble pie. This is the second Origin Jumpworks vessel that I actually kind of like. It's compact, it's practical, it fulfills the role it needs to do, and it doesn't really it still has that flair, that Origin Jumpworks kind of blasé, but unlike, for example, that piece of shit to the right, and the fucking horrendous 600i, the 400 actually does what it says it does. It doesn't just sit there and make you think, oh, look at how glorious I am, and the only redeemable factor about me is that I have a pool table, but everything else is for the rich caddy marks. You know, it actually is a decent looking ship. It does what it says it does, which is rare for an Origin Jumpworks, in my opinion. Going on into the lower ground vessels, we are introduced to a couple of smaller but nonetheless impressive style little things of Origin Jumpworks. This, of course, is the 85X Limited, a pretty much baby car slash taxi, which you can get into and fuck around or whatever. It's got a few size 1 weapons, nothing too impressive, but just again, it's an Origin Jumpworks baby ship, which if you really are desperate, but you can't really afford it, you've got something that's Origin inside. So it's just a glorified taxi. Very small vessel. Let's actually have a little bit of a quick hop into it. There you go. It's like a glorified Lamborghini or something like that. You know, the hatchback version of a particular thing. So there you go. It looks cool. It's got a few refined features. It's got a few interactable aspects. But again, it's a 85X. Nothing too special. But it's another one of the little vessels that Origin Jumpworks has available to the public on that one. I don't think that vessel has quantum drive. I don't think it does. I think it's just literally to and from the ship. Anyway, going over to the other side, we are presented with the Origin, I think maybe the third... Okay, so I guess I should have really rephrased what I said earlier for being the second. This is the second, and the 400 is the third vessel that I like, because this is the Origin Jumpworks M50 Racing vessel, or Interceptor as they call it. This is basically, for a while, Star Citizen was, I don't know if they still do it, I mean they are kind of doing it in ground-based racing, that the community is more interested in the ground-based racing, but there was a time when Arena Commander and other stuff was relatively new, or they were really publishing it, that you could have ship races, and I think you could still have ship races. I don't know how big the ship racing scene is in Star Citizen today, but there's not really that much I don't really see that much around it. But this vessel is the Origin M50, which is the answer to the MISC's version of the ship. I have a MISC ship, which I can't remember the name of at this moment in time, but it's barely similar in this thing. It's big, it's small, but it's got massive engines that it can go really fast. One thing I have seen this vessel in when it comes to flying, of course, is the Tricksters. I don't know what you would want to call this particular thing. I'm going to call it, I'm going to call it Atmos skimming. Atmos skimming, or something along those lines, danger skimming, or something along those particular lines, because what these particular pilots will do, and they are fantastic, highly recommend you watch it, like stunts and tricks and other stuff like that. These guys are fucking mental. They'll take these vessels, and they'll basically skim along the surface of the planets really low. I've got to try and find a name to coin it. Either danger skimming, Atmos skimming, low level skimming, skim racing, skim stunting, whatever you want to call it. But basically these ships are literally just barely above the surface of a planet, and they will do like barrel rolls, loop-de-loops. They'll fly through terrain that's really arduous and dangerous, and they'll make it look like they're just having a fun time, and most of the time they are. And it's incredible levels of skill, which is what I think this particular vessel is currently the best at. Obviously, it's a fast ship, and it does the job, but yeah, it is really cool when you see the kind of shit that this vessel can do. It is really awesome, I won't lie. Hands down, they do a fantastic job. But anyway, so there you go on that one, which is cool. This is pretty cool. So anyway, going on into the holographic display. I think there's only one vessel which we're going to be seeing in the holographic display, so we're going to quickly zerg into the center. Yeah, it's only the one, which is the abomination known as the G12. There are multiple types of the G12, but this is... Yeah, Ooh. Yeah. I mean, this is... Okay, so the particular edition that we're being shown here is the G12A, which is supposedly the UEE's military ground vessel. I really don't think this is going to be a good ground vehicle. We've got so many decent ground vehicles from Anvil, from Tumbril, from fucking any other company in the world. This is not gonna be a good thing. It looks like a glorified moon buggy with a Lamborghini on the side, you know, marking on the side. It is ugly. It is horrendous. It's obnoxious because it's Origin. This just looks horrible in my opinion. I really don't like it. As a military vehicle, it looks so impractical because if I was an enemy, what the fuck am I going to be looking except at the giant wheels on the side and go, well, if I knock that out, they're fucked. You know, this is like... Oof. No. So, okay, so what is the unique traits about this particular vessel? What exactly is going to be useful? Well, apparently these things are going to be ground transport vessels with the ability... like you could have... There's like additions which you can have troops inside, and there's going to be additions where you can use the missiles to shoot down your opponents. And as you can see, there's a decent amount of missiles which you can like throw out there, and you can do some decent damage. But they just look so fucking horrible, and they don't really have that much defense. And again, the wheels are pretty jarring weak point for this particular vessel. So no, I really don't think these are going to amount to much. They were announced about 2 years ago. And there's not really been that much development on them since. Actually, no, tell a lie. It's about over a year ago. In the Invictus, the first Invictus in 20... Was it the first Invictus? Was it the Invictus in 20... it might have been in 2020. Yes, no, it was an Invictus 2020 because that was on ArcCore. And this particular vessel, well, this vehicle was put into the mindset, and it was the first time they ever mentioned it. And back then, I really didn't like it, and my opinion has not changed. This vehicle looks terrible. I think it will handle terrible. It will probably be... No, it won't be... It will handle okay because it's got a wide wheel arch and everything else like that. But in terms of combat specifics, it's going to be fucking atrocious. And I really do wonder why the UEE would go for something like this. Evidently, someone at Origin Jumpworks put a little bit of a fat wad of cash in the pocket of a member of the UEE Navy. Because that's all I can really think about why we'd want to go for that. But no, so... Again, it's Origin Jumpworks. Every time I see them, I just want to sigh in frustration. But that is it. Probably a very quick episode. Origin Jumpworks, while they do offer quite a unique aspect to their ships, they're on their own, they are just glorified yachts. If you are a fan of luxury in terms of style, class, and all that jazz, this is the ship builders for you. They are the premium of the, they are the creme de la creme, the elite of the elite, but they are also, in my opinion, the rich, snobby wankers who just ooze over, arrogance and contempt for anyone who doesn't earn a fucking, own an industry or a business. While I won't lie, their ship repertoire is beginning to build. They're beginning to build up. They're finally getting vessels that I kind of like and I kind of would own if I had to. And they are getting there slowly, very, very slowly. But yeah, no, Origin Jumpworks, a company that I personally do not have many fans of. I'm not a huge fan of, but if you guys like them, of course, feel free to tell me I'm wrong in the description, and you guys can also give your opinions out on that particular fact. So, a bit of a PTA announcement. Now, obviously, the other episodes kind of came out a bit late. I was a bit busy sorting out some Christmas shopping today, but this is going to be the last episode that I can easily upload on the particular day, because unfortunately, because of my work schedule now, I'm coming back off holiday. I'm going to be fairly busy, and of course, not in the not too distant future, i.e. next week, I am going to be going away for my big holiday for a couple of weeks, and also having my Christmas break from YouTube. So we will be able to finish off all of the big ship designers, so don't you worry, but we will have to, I won't be able to finish off the entire event as it would be, because by the time that happens, I'm going to be in a different place on holiday. So I will catch you guys in the next one. That, in a nutshell, is an Origin Jumpworks customer. Yeah.